The Galactic Council chamber floated in a quiet orbit above a dying blue star. It was one of the oldest places in the galaxy, a place where great powers made decisions that shaped thousands of worlds. But today, something unusual was happening. Today, the Council was waiting for a representative from Earth. Most alien leaders inside the chamber did not respect humans. Some laughed openly. Some whispered insults. Some shook their heads with fake pity. To them, Earth was young, weak, and small. Humanity had only joined the galactic stage a few hundred years ago. Compared to ancient species who had survived for millions of years, humans were nothing but children. As the tall metal doors slid open, Earth's ambassador walked in, calm, silent, and serious. His dark suit was plain, his step steady. But his eyes were sharp. Cold. Focused. He did not bow, he did not look nervous. He simply walked to his small circular platform at the center. Soft laughter spread through the chamber. "Look, the little human arrived," someone joked. "Did Earth send only one?" another asked. "Maybe humanity could not afford more," a third voice mocked. But the ambassador did not react. He stood straight and placed his hands behind him, waiting for the council speaker to give him permission to speak. The speaker, a tall alien with crystal skin, finally lifted a glowing hand. "Human representative. You requested this meeting. Speak quickly. We have more important matters." More laughter followed. The ambassador nodded once. "I will be brief," he said in a calm voice. "Humanity brings a warning." A few aliens rolled their eyes. "A warning from Earth? What danger can they possibly see?" But the ambassador continued, still calm. "A storm is coming. A force that your sensors cannot detect. A threat older than your civilizations. And it is heading toward this galaxy." For a heartbeat, the chamber went silent. Not because they believed him, but because they were shocked by his confidence. Then, like a spark, the laughter came back, louder, crueler. "Is this a joke? Does Earth think it is our protector now? What storm? Where? Show us." The ambassador did not smile. "You will see it. Soon. Humanity has prepared for it. And we strongly advise the Council to do the same." The speaker waved a hand. "Enough. Humans always exaggerate. You bring fear instead of facts." A small alien with bright wings fluttered forward. "If there was a threat, our instruments would know," she said proudly. "Human technology is primitive." Another said, "Maybe Earth wants attention." Another whispered loudly, "Maybe they want pity." The ambassador only repeated, "Prepare." Before the speaker could reply, a deep alarm echoed through the chamber. Every screen around the walls flickered to life, showing flashing red symbols. The council chamber shifted into emergency mode. The laughter died instantly. "Alert," said an artificial voice. "Human fleets, offline." The alien leader stared in confusion. "Offline?" one asked. "Is Earth under attack? Are their ships malfunctioning?" Data streamed across the screens. Ship after ship. Station after station. Entire human sectors going dark. No signals detected. No distress calls. No transmissions. No movement. It looked like disappearance. The speaker frowned. "Human ambassador, what is this?" But the ambassador did not speak. He simply watched the screens with the same calm expression, as if he had been waiting for this moment. More reports appeared. Human military bases, empty. Civilian colonies, silent. All Earth trade routes, closed. A cold wave of fear passed through the chamber. A tall reptilian commander growled, "Is this an attack? Is Earth planning something?" "No," said another alien. "This looks like collapse." Their systems are shutting down everywhere. An old insectoid leader trembled. Humans are vanishing. At that moment, a final broadcast appeared, one single message sent from Earth's Central Command before everything went silent. Humanity withdraws. Nothing more. No explanation. No location. No request for help. Just 2 words. The council chamber exploded into chaos. What does it mean? Withdraws to where? This cannot be real. They are hiding something. But in the center of all that noise, the human ambassador stood still, almost peaceful. The speaker slammed a crystal staff into the floor. Ambassador. Explain this. For the first time, the ambassador's expression changed. He looked at every species around him, one by one. There was no fear in his eyes. Only certainty. Humanity warned you, he said quietly. You did not listen. Alien sensors suddenly began to fail. Long-range scans broke. Communications collapsed. Something enormous, invisible, and silent was moving at the edge of the galaxy. Even the most advanced instruments could not identify it. But one thing was clear. Whatever was coming, humanity already knew. And they had chosen to disappear before it arrived. A chill filled the chamber. The laughter was gone now. All that remained was fear. And the humans were nowhere to be found. Panic spread across the Galactic Council like fire in dry grass. Every species began shouting at the same time. Screens flashed red warnings. Signals collapsed one after another. It felt like the galaxy itself was shutting down. In the center, the human ambassador did not move. He watched the chaos with a calm expression, almost like he had expected every second of it. A thick-skinned alien general slammed his fist on the table. This is impossible. Humans cannot vanish like shadows. A scientist from the winged species shook her head rapidly. No population can disappear in one moment. Millions of ships, thousands of colonies, gone. This defies physics. But the reports kept coming. Human deep space sensors, offline. Human defense grid, empty. All human cities, evacuated. Evacuated. Not destroyed. Not attacked. Evacuated. The council members exchanged frightened looks. That one word changed everything. It meant humans had done this themselves. Without warning. Without permission. Without explaining anything. The speaker tried to regain control. We demand answers, he said. Ambassador, where has humanity gone? The ambassador finally looked up. His face was strangely calm, almost cold. Humanity has moved beyond council space, he said softly. For our own survival. A silent wave of fear passed through the chamber. Survival from what? What danger could force an entire species to leave? Why were we not informed? The ambassador's voice remained steady. We did inform you. You laughed. The reminder hit the room like a punch. Several leaders lowered their eyes. A few others clenched their jaws, ashamed or angry. But before anyone could speak, another alarm echoed. This time, the warning was not about humans. Multiple alien scout ships missing, the AI voice reported. Last known coordinates, human border space. No survivors. The speaker stiffened. Were they attacked by humans? No, the AI answered. Wreckage analysis shows, unknown energy signature. That one sentence froze the entire room. Unknown. Alien civilizations prided themselves on knowing everything, every star map, every threat, every weapon. Nothing should be unknown. The winged scientist whispered, it's the threat the humans warned about, isn't it? No one answered. But the silence said enough. A cold shiver ran through the council members. Suddenly, All the jokes and laughter from earlier felt like childish mistakes. One of the insectoid leaders leaned forward. "Ambassador, what exactly did the humans see?" The ambassador breathed slowly, like he was choosing every word with great care. "We detected something moving beyond the galactic rim. Something massive. Something old." He paused. "Something that does not belong here." The chamber dimmed. Even the automated lights seemed to hesitate. A reptilian commander hissed, "Describe it." "We don't know what it is," the ambassador admitted. "We only know what it can do." The room waited. He continued. "It consumes light. It bends gravity. It leaves behind empty space. Dead stars. Broken systems. It erases life with no emotion, no purpose. Like a storm that does not care what it destroys." A chilling silence filled the chamber. The speaker swallowed. "Why withdraw? Why not unite the galaxy to face this threat?" "Because you would not believe us," the ambassador said, not angry, just stating fact. "And because humanity needed time. Time to prepare. Time to change." "Change how?" someone asked. The ambassador only said, "You will see." Before anyone could ask more, every screen flickered. A new signal appeared, faint, trembling, almost whispering through space. A message. Not from the humans. Not from the Council. From deep space. A place beyond any known map. The AI trembled while translating it. Even the machine seemed nervous. "Warning," it said. "Movement detected at the edge of the galaxy. Unknown mass approaching." The chamber darkened. Several leaders grabbed their seats. Some covered their mouths. Some whispered prayers in forgotten languages. A creature older than any species in the room whispered, "The void wakes." The ambassador watched them all with a quiet, heavy sadness. Because he knew the truth. Humanity had not vanished. Humanity had hidden. And whatever was coming was still hungry. The council chamber sat in frozen silence. No one dared breathe. Every leader stared at the trembling message repeating on the screens. "Unknown mass approaching, unknown mass approaching." A cold weight settled in the air. Even the machines hummed quieter, like they sensed danger. The speaker, usually proud and commanding, suddenly sounded small. How large is this mass?" The AI hesitated before answering. "Size estimate impossible. Object does not follow physical patterns." The winged scientist whispered, "Impossible means big, and dangerous." Her wings trembled so much she could not keep them open. An insectoid leader tapped his claws nervously. "Are we sure humans did not create this thing?" "No," the ambassador said immediately. "Human technology cannot create something that bends entire star systems." A reptilian warrior narrowed his eyes. "Then why did your species disappear? Why did you run instead of fight?" The ambassador looked at him with a calm sadness. "Because we learned the truth. Not every enemy can be fought." That sentence dropped into the chamber like a stone. The aliens were not used to hearing that. Pride was common in this room. Fear was not. The winged scientist leaned closer. "What truth?" The ambassador replied softly, "That this thing has destroyed entire galaxies before. Civilizations stronger than all of us combined. Stars older than our oldest temples." A cold shock passed through the room. The insectoid leader let out a sharp, terrified click. "You mean, it has done this before?" "Yes," the ambassador said. "And we are next." The speaker tried to stay calm, but his crystal body flickered with fear. "How do you know this?" The ambassador tapped the small device on his wrist. A hologram projected into the air, images of ruined solar systems, dark and silent. Stars broken like shattered glass. Planets torn apart as if crushed by invisible hands. Gasps filled the chamber. The images didn't show war. They didn't show destruction. They showed nothing. Systems that should have life, empty. Stars that should burn, gone. Entire galaxies missing, like someone erased them from existence. The reptilian commander growled, "If this is true, then Earth should have warned us sooner." The ambassador's voice did not rise. "We tried, years ago. You dismissed it as human fear. You said humans were too emotional. Too dramatic." No one argued, because they remembered. The council had laughed at human warnings many times before. But this time, the humans had stopped caring. The winged scientist shook her head slowly. What did humans do after discovering this? The ambassador closed the hologram. Everything changed. Our governments united. Our armies merged. Our research exploded. We stopped looking at the galaxy, and started looking beyond it. Beyond, someone echoed. Yes, the ambassador said. Beyond known space. Beyond our physics. Beyond the council's reach. The aliens exchanged confused looks. You don't mean. You cannot be saying. Did humans? Before they could finish, new data flashed across the screens. Warning, the AI said. Human star systems, completely empty. Not one human life form detected. Not one human machine detected. Zero traces. The speaker's voice shook. They cleaned everything. Exactly, the ambassador said. We removed every trace of ourselves. Every ship. Every city. Every satellite. But why? The insectoid leader asked. So the coming threat cannot track us, the ambassador answered. We erased our presence from the galaxy. The council fell into horrified silence. Humans had not vanished in fear. They had strategically disappeared. For survival. For a plan. For war. The chamber lights suddenly flickered. Long-range sensors crackled with static. A deep rumbling vibration passed through the station, so deep that it felt like the galaxy itself shivered. The AI stuttered. Multiple systems, losing power, object approaching faster. The winged scientist covered her mouth. It's here. The speaker stared helplessly at the human ambassador. What do we do? How do we stop it? The ambassador's face hardened. You can't stop it, he said quietly. No one can. The chamber erupted in fear. Then we are doomed. This is the end. Why didn't humans stay to fight with us? The ambassador raised a hand, and the room slowly quieted. Humanity didn't abandon you, he said. We went to build something stronger than anything in this galaxy. And when the time comes. He paused. You will see what we have become. Before anyone could respond, the star outside the council chamber dimmed, not naturally, but as if something enormous had covered it. A darkness moved across space. Slow. Silent. Heavy. The unknown mass had arrived at the edge of the galaxy. And every alien in the chamber felt the same thing. Fear. Fear from an enemy they couldn't see. Fear from a threat humans had already prepared for. Fear from the realization that humanity might be the only hope they had left. If they had not mocked them. If they had listened. If it wasn't already too late. The dying blue star outside the council chamber flickered again. This time the light didn't fade slowly, it vanished, swallowed like a candle trapped inside a giant hand. The darkness outside wasn't natural. It wasn't a shadow. It was something else. Something alive. Every alien leader froze to their seats. 1,000 hearts across the chamber beat faster. A cold whisper moved through the air like invisible wind, although there was no atmosphere to carry sound. The AI voice trembled. Unknown mass detected. Approaching central system. Size, unmeasurable. Unmeasurable, the reptilian commander growled. How big can it be? The AI stuttered. Sensors cannot define borders. Object does not have a fixed shape. A winged scientist stepped back in fear. It's bending our sensors. Like they are made of paper. Another alarm blared. Warning, 3 council fleets have gone silent. No distress signals. No life signs. The chamber filled with horrified gasps. Silent fleets. No signals. No wreckage. Just like humanity. The insectoid leader whispered, "It is doing the same thing to us that it did to them." The speaker turned to the ambassador with desperate eyes. "Human representative, is this the threat you spoke about?" "Yes," the ambassador said, voice low and steady. "This is the beginning." The chamber shook gently, as if something massive brushed against space itself. The vibration traveled through metal, through the walls, through the bones of every being inside. One alien warrior tried to sound brave. "We must send a counterattack. Every ship we have. And lose them instantly," the ambassador replied without emotion. The screens flickered again. Warning, unknown field expanding. Distorting gravity. Pulling matter. The winged scientist's voice cracked. "It's feeding, on stars." Images appeared on the screens, stars collapsing quietly, pulled apart like dust. Planets dissolving into streams of glowing particles. Light itself bending toward the giant darkness moving across the galaxy. The insectoid leader shook with terror. "No weapon can stop this. Nothing can survive that." "There is one thing," the ambassador whispered. Every head snapped toward him. The speaker leaned forward. "What? Tell us. What did the humans build?" The ambassador did not answer immediately. He walked to the center of the chamber. Each step echoed like thunder in the silent room. "Humans knew we could not defeat this thing with old technology," he said. "We had to change. To evolve. To leave behind everything familiar." He looked around the room slowly. "That is why we disappeared." The reptiles hissed in anger. "Where did you go?" The ambassador smiled for the first time, but it was not a warm smile. It was a sharp, dangerous smile. "One day's travel beyond the edge of the galaxy." "That is impossible," the winged scientist said. "There is nothing there." The ambassador answered softly, "There is now." At that moment, the chamber lights turned deep red. The AI struggled to speak. New signal detected. Unknown fleet approaching. Energy levels, extremely high. The speaker grabbed the edge of his seat. "Unknown. Is it the threat?" "No," the AI said. "Energy signature matches, human technology." For a second, the entire chamber forgot to breathe. Humans. Returning. But what kind of humans? The screens showed vague shapes emerging from the darkness. Not ships. Not in any known design. They were enormous, silent, and floating like giants made of living metal. Their hulls glowed with shifting symbols. Trails of distorted space followed behind them. One alien whispered, This cannot be human." The ambassador stepped forward proudly. "It is. This is humanity's new fleet." A ripple of fear and awe moved across the room. The insectoid leader stammered, "How did humans build these? In such little time?" The ambassador replied slowly, "Because humans learned to bend space. To control dark energy. To merge technology with physics your minds cannot imagine." The speaker stared at him. "Why return now?" The ambassador's voice turned serious. "Because humanity cannot face this threat alone. The galaxy will fall unless we stand together." He paused. "And because the thing you saw. That dark mass. It is only the first part of it. The chamber fell into dead silence. The reptilian commander swallowed hard. You mean, there is more? Yes, the ambassador said. Much more. The human fleet drew closer, their presence shaking space like a heartbeat. The darkness behind them twisted and grew. Something far larger than the unknown mass was waking up. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy understood how small it really was. And how big the danger had become. The speaker looked at the ambassador with trembling eyes. What do we do now? The ambassador turned toward the giant windows, watching the colossal human ships enter the system like gods returning to a dying world. We pray we are not too late. The council chamber trembled again as the first wave of humanity's new fleet arrived. The dark metal ships drifted like silent giants, each one larger than entire cities. Their shapes were smooth, curved, almost alive. Alien leaders stared at them in shock, ships built not for war, but for something far bigger, something the galaxy could not yet understand. The winged scientist stepped closer to the window, her voice shaking. These ships, they bend space simply by existing. The reptilian commander whispered, this is beyond physics, beyond engineering, beyond anything we ever imagined. But the human ambassador simply said, this is only a fraction of what we built. The speaker turned toward him slowly. Why return now? If humanity ran, why come back when the threat is here? The ambassador looked at the darkness swallowing stars outside. Because running doesn't save the galaxy. And because what is coming cannot be escaped. The chamber grew colder, as if the unknown mass outside was breathing against the walls. A new alarm suddenly screamed. Warning! New gravitational spike detected. Something behind the unknown mass, activating. The screens turned black for a second, then burst with white static. The AI struggled like it was choking. Incomplete data, object size, impossible, impossible. The insectoid leader clicked nervously. Something bigger is coming. The ambassador's face hardened. The mass we saw earlier is not the real threat. It is only a scout. That word, scout, felt like a knife in the room. A nervous alien stuttered, a scout? That thing eats stars. Yes, the ambassador replied. And the true entity is thousands of times larger. Shock rippled through the council like a wave. The proudest species collapsed into their seats. What is this thing? Where did it come from? Why does it destroy everything? The ambassador finally spoke the truth humanity had hidden for years. It is called the Hollow. The chamber fell into complete silence, cold, dead silence. The speaker swallowed. The Hollow. The ambassador nodded. It travels between galaxies. It empties everything it touches. Stars, planets, life, time, everything becomes nothing. The insectoid leader whispered, why? For food. No, the ambassador said. For balance. Confusion spread across the room. The winged scientist shook her head. Balance? What balance? The ambassador sighed softly. The universe is expanding. The Hollow collapses old galaxies so the new ones can form. It is not a creature. It is a process. A cosmic cycle. The council froze. The Hollow wasn't a monster. It was nature. Inevitable. Unstoppable. And now it had reached their galaxy. The reptilian commander slammed his hand on the table. Then we are already dead. No, the ambassador said firmly. Humanity found a way to slow it down. Maybe even stop it. How? The speaker asked. The ambassador pointed at the giant returning fleet. With these. Before the aliens could respond, the chamber lights flickered. A deep rumble echoed from beyond the star. Every sensor screen turned completely white. Then. A shape appeared. Not darkness. Not a void. A massive, endless curve, like the edge of a planet made of pure shadow. But this planet was larger than star clusters. Larger than anything they had ever imagined. The AI's voice trembled. Object, size exceeds galactic core, cannot calculate. The speaker's eyes widened in terror. Is that the hollow? No, the ambassador said quietly. That is only its boundary. The entire chamber shook violently as gravity itself twisted. Some aliens fell from their platforms. Some screamed. Some prayed. The star outside stretched like molten glass. The human fleet moved forward. Their hulls glowed with symbols. Energy pulsed from their cores like living hearts. The ambassador took a deep breath. Humanity did not run. We trained. We evolved. We built weapons not for war, but for survival. He looked at the council, each species trembling with fear. And now, we ask you one final question. He raised his hand. Outside, the human fleet split into thousands of formation patterns, complex shapes twisting through space like glowing constellations preparing for something unimaginable. The ambassador's voice echoed through the chamber, deep and solemn. Will your species fight beside us? The speaker opened his mouth to answer. But he never got the chance. Because at that exact moment, the hollow spoke. A voice, not sound, not words, echoed across every mind in the galaxy. A whisper that didn't feel like speech. But like the universe remembering something terrible. Everything in the chamber, lights, walls, metal, vibrated violently. Every alien collapsed, clutching their heads. Only the human ambassador remained standing. The hollow's whisper grew clearer, colder, older. You cannot stop the cycle. The chamber lights exploded into darkness.